32.9%. What is this number? What does it mean? Let's take a look at it. I'm Ed Kaine for Conversation in Progress, and we're going to look at just some of these numbers as we try to figure out how much of a failure this administration is and how difficult the challenge is. Now, 32.9% a drop in GDP in quarter two. In quarter one, there was a 5% drop in GDP. So 5% was quite remarkable because we've been having since Obama recovered since the economy recovered under Obama from the 2008 recession. That crash never saw anything like 32.9%. The highest recorded in the way we do GDP is apparently 1951, when there was a 10% drop in a single quarter of GDP. So we dropped 5% in the first quarter, and now the second quarter report 32.9%. That's a third, 1/3. 33% is a third of the economy, right? So 32.9, wow, they just snuck in under a third of the economy. What is actually the gross domestic product? The gross domestic product is the entire product of all essentially domestic economic activity. So all the money that's being spent in the country, everything that's being sold, everything that's being served, those kind of things. So now if you see a contraction of that much, if you were just to annualize that 5% and the 32.9%, we're talking about near 10% annualized. And we're just halfway through the year. Also, with this intense push to send everybody back to school, get all the businesses open, don't wear masks, all this ridiculous nonsense, where can we squarely blame the buck stops at the president, and then the president passes it off to everybody else. But people are letting him do this, right? So in different countries, Vietnam had no deaths, so they talk about the mortality rate, that's 0%, right? So if you have no deaths from this, but the mortality rate in America is 1, it's in the bottom 10, it's actually 7th worst at one point of all the countries in the world, the mortality rate. And they're calling, give me the death chart, right? So that was just last week that we're talking about the death chart. We're talking about a president who is distraction. We talked about scandals. We talked about all the things that, if you can remember the scandal from 3 weeks ago, you have a great memory because it's just scandal after scandal after scandal. And now he's saying, oh, I don't think we can have the election. Now that's just tying up the news cycle, right? Oh, do you think he could try to delay the election? No, no, it's not going to be allowed. It's by statute that's exactly the date. It's the first Tuesday after a Monday in November. It's been that way for a long time. We've had wars. We've had other things going on. You're not going to be able to do this. One thing that may happen because of absentee voting, we may have some delays in the actual reporting of the numbers, but the way this guy is messing up, even his base is starting to turn a little bit. Not obviously, he's got approval rating somewhere in the 30s. Maybe high 30s, right? So like, where was this coming from? What are you approving? Pretty incompetent, really remarkable numbers. And the numbers just keep on spelling out numbers of deaths, over 151,000 deaths so far since March, over the 32.9% drop in GDP. Yesterday, so today is August 1st. August 1st marks the first day that there's going to be no supplemental employment insurance, unemployment insurance and underemployment insurance. That payment that people were getting, that $600 a week, was essentially stay home, but whenever we get a scrap of time to, are you going to get the testing underway? No, I'm going to slow down the testing. Are you going to get masks and stuff produced in America? well, I'm going to try to buy some masks, but really it's up to the states, right? So we've got this idea of federalism. Federalism means you can give some of the powers to a federal authority, and some of those powers rest with the states. So, and that's been a pretty good balance often, but when you have a nationwide thing happening, the federal government has had resources put into the CDC, is put into Homeland, this whole nonsense about the Homeland Security. I don't like the name of it, and maybe you don't either, but these kind of institutions have been federal institutions, right? Oh, all the federal institutions are doing now, they're sending people to towns and cities to beat on protesters, peaceful protesters who are yelling. Yeah, well, we're yelling because you're not listening. We've got an authoritarian, certainly authoritarian. There's no disputing whether he's an authoritarian. But the tendency towards ignoring reality, big lie, all these things make Donald Trump uniquely fascist. And the people that follow him are looking for the strong man, and they're finding a piece of, he is a chicken and a wimp, right? He has never fired anybody. If you ever watch his show, The Apprentice, so this is me watching The Apprentice. I didn't watch very much of it. I watched it, and it was years ago. Oh, what do you got for us? It's a product idea I've got, and I made it out of macaroni and string, and I'm wondering if we can't do it. And he's like, I like it. And then another one's like, oh, I got this idea. It's a marketing campaign. We could do this and that. It's going to be a little bit complicated. Oh, don't like it. You're fired. What? The macaroni necklace is a joke, but come on. Like, it was ridiculous. If you watch this guy and then think he was going to run the country anywhere other than into the ground, he had speculated how to refinance our debt. Well, if you bankrupt it, then we'll have to refinance our debt. What? He actually literally speculated on whether he could just bankrupt the United States, default on all of our loans. Really? So, yeah, well, you can get your credit rating back up in 7 years or something, right? No, you can't. It's the United States. Basically, the institutions of the United States do not need to go bankrupt. They need to kick in and help us with a 32.9 and they're drop in GDP. And right now, the plan is to cut unemployment benefits, right? Get those people back to work. Are people not working because they don't want to work? All these things are nonsense, right? I'm throwing all this spaghetti on the wall and trying to help you to understand that it is complex, right? Now, for people who have this idea of complex causation, right? We talked in another video about the ability to kind of put all these things together, right? You can understand that many things are happening at once, right? COVID-19 has caused many businesses, anything with proximity, right? If you're going to be sitting next to somebody in a movie theater, do you want to do that? No. I'd rather get a Netflix subscription and watch it at home, right? We have these resources, so people instantly contracted their expenditures outside. Oh, our restaurant can serve you. We're open. Oh, are your cooks wearing masks? Well, a lot of our cooks are wearing masks. No, is everybody back there wearing a mask? Well, not everybody, but they don't have it. They don't have it. Give me a break, right? So if you want to get a salad from a restaurant right now, we have to trust that the guy that's making your salad doesn't have a mask on, that he's fine. He's irresponsible. He's putting people at risk, that salad maker, right? Restaurants that are doing this, this is what happened. They started this, a bunch of people went to the bars, then there's stories of 10 friends getting COVID at a little bar outing because they'd opened, right? It's confusing for people. Totally understand. It's confusing, but you have to get down to it. Let's simplify this. Wear a mask. Maybe we can open the economy. Test and trace. Maybe we can open the economy. Let's do the things that we need to do. Oh, Kaine McEnany is saying, well, the Europeans are opening their schools. Yeah, but they did their homework, right? They did the work. They wore the mask. They're wearing the mask. Everybody's wearing it. Everyone's doing it. They tested, they contact traced, they got their numbers way down. We're having more deaths in Texas in one day than most countries in the world. Okay? It's serious. Our numbers have been going down. They were going down. Everyone was panicked to open up. And it's blowing up. So unfortunately, we have to kind of take a step and say, what do you need now to understand that Donald Trump and the Republicans have led us into this massive failure? The economy is broken. People are afraid to go outside. The Black Lives Matter movement and these peaceful protests are getting beaten down. People are being assaulted, sexually assaulted, in the middle of these crowds and being taken out. People are being taken away in unmarked vehicles. This is, it's a spaghetti on the wall. But if you don't understand that any strand of spaghetti up there is the disgusting abuse of American standards for the history of America, right? If you don't understand that any one of those strands, if you just pulled that one piece of spaghetti, you would be disgusted by what Donald Trump is doing here. I'm sorry. There's no other way to say it. The people that are backing this guy up right now, this is a time for the 25th Amendment. Get him out of there. Maybe Pence could do some kind of salvage job. Go ahead. Be the president. Do something else. 32.9%, folks. If you were going to hang your hat on some kind of, oh, wow, Donald's really done a great job with the economy, right? No, that was Obama's economy. Obama's economy kept going up, and then it started to slow down with the trade wars and all this nonsense he was doing. Used up this capital, had a trade war with Canada, right? To stop them, to prevent their metals, maybe aluminum or something, from coming in the country. What? This is how erratic and just irresponsible this guy is, okay? 25th Amendment, get this guy out of here. You got a different opinion. You think that, this was unavoidable. It's certainly not unavoidable. Like, if you just would have been consistent on wearing masks, this is the week that, we say sadly, Herman Cain died of COVID. But we say it because we want you to know that Herman Cain, 2012 Republican presidential, candidate, dies because he gets tested positive 9 days after this oddball rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Nobody's wearing masks. They're all packed into this stadium. Of course, only a third of the capacity came because most people have more sense. It is ridiculous, folks. Take one strand of spaghetti, get disgusted by it. Here's what it is. 32.9% drop in GDP. Enough said. All right, this is a conversation in progress. Got a different opinion? You want to say it down in the comments? We're looking at every one of them. Thank you. Talk to you soon.